Portsmouth Historical Society. We meet every June for an annual meeting, and then we meet the board meets monthly to keep things going. I'm going to give you a little bit of a run through about what we've done over the past year, just to give you an idea of where we are. This is the 76th annual meeting of the Portsmouth Historical Society, and I'm going to give a president's report after we do the treasurer's report, and Mike Pagliarani will be giving the treasurer's report right now.
Welcome. For the sake of brevity, I will not be presenting the May monthly report. That will be available upon request to the board members if you want to see that. We will present the 2015-2016 annual report for the Portsmouth Historical Society. Balance as of 6/1/15 in the checking account was $2,786.50 with expenses of $18,207.10. Receipts of $18,207.10, expenses of $8,929, leaving a balance at 5/31 of $12,064.56. Building account initial balance of 5/1/4775 with receipts of $13,236 and expenses of $8,586, leaving a balance on May 31st this year of $94,2569. Trust account initial balance $73,4288 with receipts of $7,826 and expenses of $4,049, leaving a balance of $11,119.73. And this year we started a PayPal account, which started with a zero balance and at present has a balance of $854.71, leaving a total balance of $33,464.13 for the end of the year. And that is our annual report. In lieu of our financial goals for the past year, one of them was to increase revenue. That revenue across the board is up 224%. So that starting balance of $14,904 and an ending balance of $33,464 yields 224%. So that says a lot for, the hard work of a lot of the folks that are raising money for the society. One of our goals that we were successful, financial goals, was funding emergency repairs last year, which we were able to do. Third goal was continue maintaining endowment principle has been maintained since inception. Fourth is controlling costs on operating expenses, which we're kind of working, that's kind of our battle. Costs on operating expenses increased 10% this year. So we're trying to manage to keep those as low as possible. The operating expenses went from $14,338 to $15,911. And we have a new category which I consider expanding costs, because we are a growing society. We have different types of costs that are coming into the picture, and those involve postage, printing, merchandising, events, and permits. And because we really started from ground zero, that has kind of a 1,000% increase, if you want to call it, and we've paid about $53.09 for that. But that kind of falls in line with our revenue increase, and that is all covered by our revenue. So as treasurer, I consider that a good year, a year in the green. Even though we've had increasing expenses, we've been able to match those expenses with our revenue. Financial goals for this year: keep increasing revenue, fundraise for state grant matching. We're going to need to raise some money for our state grant in order to renovate the outside of the building. Work to accept the state grant, which means working with the state to make sure that we are able to rationalize to get the money that they're offering to us. These are goals. Continue maintaining the endowment principle and continue to control costs and operating expenses. Okay, does anybody have any questions on the financial portion?
Is this going to be posted on the website or?
The annual report? No, it'll be available upon request. If you would like a copy, I can get you a copy.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Great job. I will entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. That's great. Okay, first of all, for those, most of you know me, but I'm the town historian. I'm Jim Garman. I'm the president of the Historical Society, and I was on the board here from 1974 to 1998. Then I left for a while, and I just came back in November. So most of what I'm talking about is since last November rather than since last June, because I wasn't around on the board. Our membership in November was somewhere around the figure of 100. Currently, it is a little bit over 430. We did a town-wide mailing, and it worked, and we're going to do another one, by the way, in the fall. And we've tried to increase our membership considerably, and we have. And we want to double it one more time. We're looking for 1,000 someday. And the membership committee that did most of this work was under the leadership of Doug Smith, who really deserves a lot of credit for all he's done for the membership program. We've received 2 grants during this year. One was a $30,000 grant from the Rhode Island Historic Preservation Commission. That's primarily to help with the repairs we had some water damage a year and a half ago, and we're trying to finish up working on that. And then we had a $2,000 grant from the state legislature from Representative Riley, and that is to purchase, which we've already just gotten, a new dehumidifier, a high-powered one for the museum downstairs. And we're getting it at cost, and it's really going to be helpful for the museum. The museum itself is open on Sunday afternoons from 2 to 4, and from now until Columbus Day. We opened 3 weeks ago. We have a great collection of artifacts here, and we really think that if you haven't been here on a Sunday afternoon, come and see what's here. We also have a current display that was of houses in Portsmouth and people who lived in those houses, of 17 different houses. There's one of them right up here in this case, which is the parish house for this church when it was functioning. It's catty corner across the street that way. But there's that. There's a great display in the Old Town Hall of agricultural artifacts, machinery, including a mail wagon and a hearse that we have there, which is wonderful to see. We're always looking for more docents for Sunday afternoons. You don't have to be an expert in Portsmouth history to be a docent. We have experienced people who are here every weekend, and we want more people to come and help guide the visitors when they come. And if we get enough docents, what we'd like to do, especially in the fall, is to open on Saturdays and Sundays. So we're trying to do that. That's a plan we'd like to do. So if you're interested in being a docent, you can contact me, or you can contact Ann Wagner, who's sitting right there, and volunteer. Again, you will not be left alone in the museum to do it by yourself. That doesn't happen. So we need some help. A couple of coming events that we have a lot of things scheduled. We have about 9 things scheduled so far for this year. I'll just mention a couple of them. On Thursday, July 7th, the time is still under review, but probably 5:30 to 7. We will have the showing of the Portsmouth copy of the Declaration of Independence. That's a copy that's kept in the town vault. The meeting will be in the town hall. What this is, it's kind of an interesting story to it. As a researcher back in the 70s, I remember seeing this copy, which is, we thought it was like one of those parchment copies that you can buy for $1 someplace, sitting on the floor in a broken frame behind the filing cabinet. Turns out it was a first-generation copy of the Declaration of Independence, and worth a lot of money, and that's why it's in the vault at the town hall. But we're going to have a showing of that on July 7th. We're also going to have a lecture at that time by John Perillo, who's an expert on William Ellery. William Ellery was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. He's from Newport. He's buried in Newport. So Thursday the 7th of July from 5:30 to 7 and at the town hall. You'll see press about that. We're getting the posters out today and very soon. On Friday, July 22nd, there's going to be a big ceremony for Anne Hutchinson. It is Anne Hutchinson's 425th birthday. And so there are people coming from all over the country. There are going to be a lot of demonstrations and lectures, and we're going to have a picnic at Founder's Brook and a lot of other things going on. We're going to have an art show in the library. We're going to have a talk by yours truly, and that's on Friday, July 22nd. And finally, just for now, again, we have more things scheduled, but on August 9th at the library, we're going to have a lecture by a man by the name of Christian McBurney. Christian McBurney has written several books on the Battle of Rhode Island and Colonel Barton's raid and so on. And he's going to come and talk on Barton's raid on Tuesday, the 9th of August. So again, that was at Prescott Farm when General Prescott was captured by the rebels, I guess you could say, and taken away. So that. So those are some of the things that are coming up. We have a lot of other things scheduled. Please tune into our schedule. We have a wonderful website, by the way, portsmouthhistorical.org. And if you haven't looked at it, take a look at it. There's a lot of things on there. Rich Tilipsky has been putting more and more stuff on there, and Gloria Schmidt has been doing a lot of it too. So there's a great deal of Portsmouth history right there on the website. And we also have a Facebook page for the Portsmouth Historical Society. So that, as far as the schedule goes, now moving on to business, I guess it's probably old business and new business. We have revised the bylaws of the Portsmouth Historical Society. They have received approval by the Board of Directors at an earlier meeting, and they're being presented to the membership for their for discussion and for approval. We will have a vote afterwards to determine. So what I would like to do is call upon Rich Tilipsky, who is the chairman of the Bylaws Committee, to explain briefly just what the differences are between the old bylaws and the new bylaws.
Okay, the Board of Directors asked us to form a bylaws review committee, and that consisted of me, Nancy Smith, and Dave Duggan. What we wanted to do was clean up some inconsistencies in the bylaws and make them a little bit cleaner. So I'm just going to go over the changes. Before, the bylaws said the society shall maintain buildings, and we've changed that to buildings and grounds to make it more accurate. The required paragraph that we operate in accordance with the IRS Revenue Code of 1986 was added as required. The quorum and voting occurred in 3 places in the bylaws, and we consolidated that into one quorum and voting paragraph. We inserted an option to grant honorary memberships to people. We actually do this now, we just formalized that. And we also made the option to specify members emeritus. And Herb Hall was given that distinction, and we also memorialized that in the Board of Directors. The previous Board of Directors was inconsistent in that it said there were 9 directors and 6 officers. And then it said the board elects the Board of Directors and the membership elects the officers, which was all inconsistent. So we tried to make the bylaws consistent in that all 15 members are of the Board of Directors. And then from that Board of Directors is elected 6 officers. In the past, the officers were elected for a year, and then the other directors were elected for 3 years. So what we did was made all board directors elected for 3 years, and then the officers are elected for 1 year. We made the director of the library an ex officio member of our board, and we did that because the Portsmouth Free Public Library provides us so much support. We added a paragraph that our bylaws are a corporation under Rhode Island law, which was not there before. We made the specification that the officers are elected by the board. We changed the list of the officer. We had a large list of officers that included the custodian and curator. We changed that to have an executive committee, which consists of all the officers and the chairs of all the committees. And that's what's been working very well in bringing more life to the society. So we decided to have that group that works sort of like an executive director works in a larger organization. The previous bylaws said we had an annual meeting and 2 additional meetings. We have not had 3 meetings per year, so we made that where we would have 1 meeting, 1 membership meeting called by the president, and other meetings can be called on the recommendation of any 10 members. Previously, the dues structure was in the bylaws, and we took that out because we didn't think we would have to change the bylaws if we needed to change the dues. So we took that out and made it a job of the board of directors. We formed an executive committee which consists of all the officers and all the chairmen of all the committees. The duties and responsibilities of the committees were not specified in the old bylaws, so we put a short paragraph on what the duties and responsibilities of each committee is. And the final thing is we never said that meetings would be conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and that is that.
Thank you, Rich. Okay, in keeping with parliamentary procedure, I will entertain a motion to accept the new bylaws. Any second? Discussion. Anybody have any questions? Don't go away, Rich. Questions, comments? Carol,
Because I didn't get a chance to read the latest revision.
speak up so everybody can hear you.
Because I didn't get a chance to read the latest revision, is the membership still going to be voting on bylaws in the future? Or was that taken out
Did we decide?
In the new one,
in the new one?
the board of directors,
Okay, because I didn't hear you
the
cover that.
board of directors
Yeah.
makes changes and approves the bylaws.
Okay, I didn't hear you mention that.
I guess we did.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I will entertain a vote at this question, a vote. All those in favor of the new bylaws, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we have the new bylaws in place then. As I said, they've already been approved by the board as well. Now we have a few people to thank here for service on the board. First of all, I'll call on Karen Meyer to come up. Where'd she go? Is she here? She's here. She's here. What these say, for example, is, and just, I'll read one and they're all pretty much the same. The Historical Society takes pleasure in honoring Karen Meyer for her many years of exceptional service to the Society. Her dedication to the preservation of Portsmouth history has made a lasting contribution to the proud heritage of the town. Congratulations. I just feel so proud. Next, I'll call on Nancy Lawton to come up. Come on up. Yeah, what's those chords coming through there? The presentation is essentially the same, but I want to congratulate you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for all your service for a number of years. Appreciate that. Frame it. Yeah, thank you. And the next one, I'll wait till she gets started. The next one is for a person who's really been the heart of our organization a lot in terms of research and so on. And this award, this certificate goes to Marge Webster. Marge is curator, but she's also a snowbird, so she's going to work for us in the summer, every summer, and wherever else we can get her, whatever else we can get her to do. So, Marge, we really appreciate all you have done and are doing. Thank you. Also retiring as a member of the board who hasn't been with us very long is Jill Cassis. She's not here tonight, but she was the other one. Finally, I would like to give a presentation to a person who has carried a lot of this organization over the last 14 years as the vice president. Anybody that can be vice president for 14 years deserves a special credit. And this is Carolyn Nelson. Carolyn has been with the organization for all that time. She's kept it alive in a lot of ways, and we really appreciate what she's done. And for her, we have something a little more special. We have a copy of the Portsmouth Compact that we have, and it says on the back, Portsmouth Historical Society takes pleasure in honoring Carolyn Nelson for many years of exceptional service to the Society. Her dedication to the preservation of Portsmouth history has made a lasting contribution to the proud heritage of the town, given this day, 20th day of June 2016. James E. Garman. Congratulations. All right. Thanks. Okay, as far as the new board members are concerned, we don't vote on these at the time, I'm just announcing them, but the new board members are, first of all, Dave Duggan, who is re-upping for another 3 years. He's been on the board the last 3. Ann Burns. Are these people here? Stand up. Stand over here. Yeah. Thank you. Nancy Crawford. See here? Nancy's here. Dave Foucher, who's going to take over as treasurer. Dave ran the town, so I think he can run us probably. I think that'll work. And Gary Crosby, who had to leave. He had a council meeting he had to go to. Those are the new members of the board. So, that being said, I've used up all my time. We really, if any of you here are not members, we really would like you to join. We have the forums downstairs. Please join us. I'm now going to introduce Carolyn Nelson, who's going to introduce our speaker. We'll have refreshments afterwards down in the museum. And in regard to that, we are extremely grateful to Nancy Parker Wilson of Greenville Vineyards, who has provided most of the refreshment for tonight. An unusual thing for the Historical Society to have some wine, okay? So please stick around afterwards and enjoy some refreshments and walk around the museum and see things a little bit.